Hey,
Oh,
hey, there
hey,
we go.
hey. No,
Hey,
almost.
there
I
it is.
almost.
We almost yelled it.
I almost
This
realized
is
it wasn't
we are
Ramble
after
Radio After
dark.
Dark. Yes.
We are after dark, and we told ourselves we'd never do this again. But
We did.
welcome, yeah. And if you're
Welcome.
new to the Ramble podcast, where
Yes.
your geek's guide to pop culture, welcome to the Ramble podcast, a geek's guide to pop culture. If you're a returning listener, well, you already know how much we love you. You
Oh.
already know that. If
We
you're
won't
new,
TFP you right now.
No.
Later.
And to
Later.
the new ones, you'll find out what that means. And if you're new to the Ramble, we would be the geeks. I am comedian, cancer fighter, lover, Jerry Rocha. With me, as always, my eternal brother from another mother,
Comedian Eddie Pence.
the
Also
one and only
podcaster.
lover,
Lover. Astronomer.
astronomer,
Yeah.
And
Amateur. Amateur astronomer.
Amateur or amateur?
Amateur astronomer.
Which is a fancy pants? Amateur, right? Amateur.
Amateur.
That's a fancy
Amateur.
pants. Well, this is a podcast where we geek out and sometimes complain about all the things we love in pop culture and nerd
Yes.
culture. And when we say nerd culture, we don't mean smart nerd.
No.
We don't. No, we're not.
No.
We couldn't fix or repair anything or tell you about computer. This is like
I don't
nerd,
know
like-
the periodic table at all.
No, I couldn't
Nothing.
tell you one thing.
Nothing on there.
This is. I see the
This
beginning.
is
of
not
Breaking-
Big Bang Theory nerd.
No, I see the beginning of Breaking Bad. I'm like, what do these symbols even mean? The title screen. I'm like, huh?
Yes,
But
we are the
kind of-
un-Big Bang Theory.
Yes, we're the kind of nerds
nerds.
who are grown men who spend money we should not be spending on action figures and video games. Those kind of nerds.
Right here.
They're like
Right
like
there.
MODOK. Right
Like
there.
that, like
So we
MODOK.
welcome you.
What 50-year-old man needs
Right.
MODOK?
No, well, you lover.
I do.
And
This guy
astronomer
does.
Eddie Pence and comedian. That's
Amateur
what we do.
astronomer.
Amateur astronomer. Eddie
Amateur.
Pence. So what? And then we are also sometimes joined by our dear friend and film critic Cody Viafana. This is not one of those nights. Now the truth
No.
is, Cody has a hard job, a big normal adult job. He's not a
Yes.
comedian like Eddie and I, and he also
No.
goes to a lot of film screenings because he is a
Yes.
critic.
Yes.
But if you're new to the show, you might hear us paint him as an alt-right architect. And those
Yeah.
are the excuses as to why we make up alt-right excuses.
Right.
So I think right now he's trying to squash this whole Laura Loomer Trump affair.
Right.
Is what he's probably
Is
in
it
the middle of.
because he personally is trying to get in Laura Loomis' pants?
That could be an alt-right Cody move. That
Because
could be
he
an alt-right
kind of
Cody
burns
move.
through those all-right chicks.
Well,
He's gone
he
through,
he has to add fuel to that fire.
yeah.
He is known to have sex with a lot of jigsaw dolls from the movie Saw, and so Laura Loomer seems like the next
The logical next step
the
in that
next step
fantasy.
in that. So and today, man, we are going to it has been such a
Yeah.
roller coaster. Eddie. Oh, by the way, subscribe to the Ramble. Give it a 5-star rating, a positive text
Positive
review.
text, yeah.
You can email us
Sure.
ramble@theramblepod.com.
Love to hear from you.
We're on
Love to hear
Twitter
from you.
for as long as Twitter's out there at Podcast Ramble 1, Instagram, The Ramble Tube. We have a YouTube page where you can see our lovely faces at The Ramble Tube. We also have merch, a TeePublic page. So go
Sure,
check that out.
sure,
One day we're going to get a better one, we've been told. But we'll see.
That was
I don't know.
all right Cody's job, but he's
It-
too busy.
He's too busy doing other things.
He's too busy trying to get the panties off Laura Loomer.
He really
That's the
is.
problem.
And man, Eddie, today, and of course, to the new people, we are every Friday, Monday. I mean, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Or maybe I should put it in order. Tuesday,
He's probably doing the
Wednesday,
order because that's how
Tuesday,
people
Wednesday,
expect the
Friday.
week to happen.
I'm jumbling it up.
Yeah, you
Tuesday,
don't want to jumble
Wednesday,
the week.
Friday is
There
when
it
we
is.
post. Tuesday and Fridays are our Ramble Radios, which are these kind of supplemental ones that aren't as long
Right.
as the main Ramble. And we're going to kind of succinctly rant or rave about something going on in
Yes.
the worlds we love. And today, God, this is a rant, Eddie. This is a rant.
It's got your. Would you say your panties are officially in a bunch?
They're bunched.
Are they bunched? Are your panties bunched?
Goat gotten. Goat gotten.
yeah.
Goat is
Goat
gotten.
has definitely gotten.
Because we are both massive gamers.
Yes. Love the
We're-
games.
My love
Love
of
the
video
games.
games began. I come from a single parent mother for the most part. She had a boyfriend, David, who was like my father, who's a wonderful human. But some
sure.
of my earliest memories, my mom and David got me a ColecoVision
Yeah,
with the
that
Atari
was my first
adapter.
system.
Remember the
Oh,
Atari
nice.
adapter?
I wasn't loved enough to get the adapter.
Jeez, that's is that something? Yeah, hold against your father right now. Is that something? If you had to talk
only in
about your
moments
mom
of
and dad?
weakness. Only in moments of weakness.
Okay, I'm sorry to do this, Eddie. I'm sorry to air your business like this. How many prostitutes have the last thing they've ever heard as you're choking them to death been you complaining that your parents never got you the Atari adapter for the ColecoVision? Do you feel comfortable answering?
All 16 of their confused faces are burned into my brain. Forever.
There it is. There it is.
All 16 of their confused faces.
And there was your dog Stanley echoing that. Because you take him, right? You take your dear little Jack Russell Terrier.
He goes
Stanley
with me everywhere. And they just want to know why their lives are ending while I'm complaining about an Atari adapter for ColecoVision.
You never got for the ColecoVision. This is one of the reasons that the video game industry crashed, is because Atari, they just how could you do that? That's like walking into McDonald's with the Burger King crown, and they don't beat the shit out of you right then and there and kick you out. Like it's absurd.
It's literally like walking into a McDonald's with the Burger King uniform on, going in there, grabbing a bunch of McDonald's hamburgers, and in the store going, "Hey, you want some Burger King hamburgers? Here you go.
Here's some Burger King burgers right here for you." It's insane. It's fucking insane.
It was nuts.
But it existed. And so one of my earliest memories is playing this game called Frogs and Flies.
Okay.
With my mother. And it was just a game where you're two frogs on a lily pad competing over who could jump
the flies.
And eat the
flies.
Great.
Sure. Sounds like a blast.
Game.
Sounds like a blast.
To be honest, great game.
Right.
To be honest, video games might have peaked with Frogs and Flies.
Might have. Sounds like it did.
If you can argue that, ramble at theramblepod.com.
Yeah.
Eddie, how many emails do you think we'll get arguing that? I'm going to say a big fat 0.
Probably 0, because they know the truth.
I don't think they know it's real.
Who wants to come to that gunfight with a knife, right?
Who wants to come to the Frogs and Flies shootout with just a toothpick? That's all you got. And so I've always loved video games. As you can see behind me, there's a lot of video game shit.
Hardware back there.
A lot of hardware. And The Legend of Zelda was that was the one that kind of changed it all. I was like,
that's the jizz in your pants game, right? That was the one where you full released.
It was all there. It was a first jizzed. 6 years old, 7 years old.
Yeah.
Didn't even know what that was.
Link.
Couldn't even
came to Link.
Turned into a man. Right when dun, da, 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 that was it. There it
Link
is.
made you a man.
We're a man now. But so and you had the ColecoVision. You went to Nintendo. You were now. Here's where our paths converge. You were a Sega Genesis guy.
I like the Nintendo and I like the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, sure. But you Genesis first, correct?
No, I was Nintendo. Then Genesis, because I wanted the TurboGrafx 16. That's what I wanted.
Who didn't? Bonk's Adventure.
That's what I wanted, but I wasn't able to get that.
Yeah.
So a couple years later, I got the Sega Genesis,
Ooh.
And then that took off. Altered Beasts, Buster Douglas's Punch Out. I mean, come on. Buster Douglas's Punch Out was fucking amazing.
They could not wait once Tyson fell to just we got our own guy.
We got Buster, baby.
That just plummeted.
We got Buster.
But yes, and then what brought you to Super Nintendo was the WWF, right? Was the WWF
Royal Rumble? WWF Royal Rumble. That
maybe
was
still the greatest wrestling game ever made. Maybe
might be up there. Pro wrestling and then that. I think those are the top two.
Pro wrestling is it, and
pro wrestling is number one.
As you get to know this podcast, you will know. We have some little harsh feelings about pro wrestling. We'll probably revisit.
And feel free to go into Game Dude in
Halloween.
Burbank and let them know about it.
Let them know in North Hollywood and let them fucking know. But so we've been gamers, and dude, I'm the type of guy I always have to get the new console.
Yeah.
Did you have that same bug? I always had to get fuck man, Nintendo is kind of Super Nintendo. Holy shit! And then of course my biggest mistake was when the Nintendo 64 came out.
Yeah.
That was the point when you the secondhand thing started popping up. You could sell your old games to get store credit. Yeah. No idea that these old fucking games are going to be worth anything, let alone what they're worth
giving
now.
Away fucking ain't Action Comic #1 and
like
shit.
a fucking house. Like here's a house payment now, and I just traded them all. And so I'm always trying to get I always had to get the thing, and I'm still a sucker for that. Which brings us to today's episode, the PS5 Pro, which was just announced by Sony a couple days ago, and I was like, yeah. I mean, I got the PS4 Slim, that Pro, right when
which I thought that's what PS5 Pro was going to be. It was just going to be the slimmed version of the PS5.
Runs a little faster, everything's a little smoother, and that's supposedly, it looks the same, really.
Yeah, it looks just as big as the PS5.
And then I'm looking like, well, okay, is that really? And then I saw the price tag, $700 fucking dollars.
$700, babe.
$700, babe, for that.
It's fucking savage.
There's no fucking. It's a savage price, bro. It's fucking
savage.
Bro. Sony knows how to fuck their customers. They're so savage,
dude.
So $700. It does not come with the disc drive. Now, I am one of these idiots who has to own it. I know you still own it digitally. I like having the fucking box. I like looking at the artwork on the box. I like having.
But I think that's because we're old school comic book collectors.
We really
are.
Like
there's a point of like we wanted the physical, to hold it in your hands and to see your collection in front of you.
Smell it.
Touch it.
Smell it. Oh, new comic book smell. What's better? What's better than a new comic book smell? Not fucking
slide it into the bag and God.
So So no disc drive. It's all digital. If you want a disc drive, Eddie, it's $80 extra. It's the disc drive they made for the PS5 that is all digital. It's an $80 add-on. There's not even a fucking vertical stand for this thing. Got to pay $30 for that. And
that's what blows my mind is you can't set it anywhere without buying the stand
extra money. And that's all. That is $700. That's before. So now you're looking at what, 8 something?
Almost eight over 800. If it's 80 plus 30,
you want to buy a game or two?
$810, $800 bucks.
You want to buy a game or two? You're inching towards $1,000. And this is like. And again, it just is supposed to make some games supposedly look a little better. I saw a screenshot of that PS5 Spider-Man 2 Miles Morales game, the Miles game, the Spider-Man 2 with the Venom, right? I don't know which one. What was that fucking called? I think it was Spider-Man 2, and
Spider-Man 2 had Venom. Miles Morales, that was.
So this is the newest one too. With
the
Venom,
newest one, Spider-Man 2,
where Miles and Peter team up, right? And Venom.
Yeah.
And there's a clip of it, and it doesn't look that. It looks a little weirder. It doesn't even look that great from the PS5 Pro. And dude, if this were a PS6, and it was visually leaps and bounds better than the PS5, and it was still $700, that's still too fucking much.
That's still too much. Even the fucking PS5 sitting at what it was, $500.
That was too much, and I still swallowed it. This is, Eddie, we're entering Neo Geo territory. I mean, fuck, the Neo Geo, $650 for that fucking thing when you can get a fucking, Super, whatever. It was absurd. This is getting absurd. And I don't know why they fucking do this. It seems like every generation, the manufacturers just tried, they're just like, all right, you know what? It's fucking 4th and 80. We're going to hand it off. Like, that's what it's just.
Let's just see what happons.
Let's see what happens. We're just going to hand it to the fullback, not even the running back. We're just going to do a little pitch to the fullback.
Down by 3. We're down by 3. We're on our own 20. It's 4th and 25.
Let's pitch it back to the fullback. See what happens. See what he can do. And
they want to get rid of physical media for some reason. It happened with DVDs. It happened with CDs. Yep. It's happened with comic books to an extent with the digital platforms for comic books.
And
now it seems they're getting rid of this.
I'm kind of, because I love now I'm kind of a hypocrite there because we travel as comedians, we're on the road. I kind of like getting to read my comics on an iPad. I kind of like getting to read books on a Kindle or a Nook, whatever the fuck. But dude, I don't like. And if you want to make it all digital, great. Then can you do us a favor and release the consoles with way more fucking memory than they already come with? Right?
Yeah.
And
if you're gonna have something where you're just downloading the games, it's gonna have like 2 terabytes of storage on the thing.
And then fucking lower the price, $700 and it's weird because Sony was riding such a high with Astrobot, that game that's it's a great fucking game that just came out, and now it's plummeting. I think they're just like, what the fuck is happening right now? How did you do this? It's like you.
Right.
It's just, it's great. You know, it's funny because the Nintendo 64. Do you remember when they had that little enhancement pack, the expansion pack that you bought, and it was like $80 or whatever? I forgot how much it cost, but it wasn't that crazy expensive. And you would pop it into the. Should I show you the folks at home what I'm talking about?
That's what the hardware's there for.
I mean, what else is it here for other than to just show? By the way, ooh, that's that Donkey Kong green.
Look at that. That's got 3 spikes for 3 holes.
You know it. Oh, look at that. Look at this. Look at that.
Gorgeous.
So there it is, and right there is the expansion pack.
You almost got the purple one today, didn't you?
I did. I almost did. Do you know how close I came? I was like, I already have this, but I almost got the purple. You know, I'm waiting on the gold one. I want to wait on the fucking Toys R Us gold one, just because it reminds me of the Legend. It's not a Legend of Zelda console, but it should be. So I want the gold one.
It should be.
Yeah, but so that little part right there was the expansion port. If I'm not mistaken, the game Perfect Dark, you couldn't play without it, right? So it definitely enhanced the. Why can't you do that? Instead of making us pay $700 fucking dollars for what's pretty much the same thing we already fucking have, why can't you just, dude? If it was some $200 add-on, okay, maybe the hardcore say fuck it, I'll do it, right? But it's not even the next generation. You're still in the PS5. It just doesn't make any
it doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna do this leap, do it with the next console. Don't do it with.
Don't do it with.
But I guess maybe it's sort of their test. It's sort of like a test balloon they're sending up. Well, okay, let's do it with the PS5 Pro. See what the reaction is. If it's good, with the next console, we'll make it this way.
I don't want any game company to fail, but I hope this. I don't want this to do. I don't want any game company to be encouraged by this kind of shit. And go, oh fuck. I mean, because fuck it, man. What, $300 more, you get a PC that's probably far superior, right?
And if it's a PC, you can constantly upgrade the thing. You can constantly add more memory. You can constantly add more storage. You can add. You can change the video card. You can constantly modify it.
That was the whole purpose of consoles. They were a lot. They were fun. Didn't quite look as good as PCs, but we didn't give a shit because they were just.
But they were
fun.
cheap,
and they
cheaper,
were cheap,
and more accessible.
Far cheaper, far more accessible.
That was the point.
And I think I just don't understand why they're doing this. I don't understand.
But yeah, if you're gonna make it as expensive as a fucking laptop at this point, people are just gonna get a PC where they can upgrade it.
Dude, it's I don't know if Xbox does anything to say, oh fuck you guys, I don't know. I'm excited to see what Nintendo does with the next Switch, because Nintendo seems to be in their own little world. Yeah. And they don't seem to really give a shit about this rat race between Sony and Microsoft. They're like, we're doing fine with this fucking shit that looks like a PS3, the fucking Switch. But it doesn't matter because the games are great and everybody has fun.
It almost seems like Nintendo almost seems like those early 2000s version of Apple, where they're kind of like, we're just going to ignore what IBM is doing and we're just going to do what we want to do.
We're doing our own shit. Like, dude, I can't wait to play that new Zelda game where you get to play as Princess Zelda for the first time. That's coming out in like 2 weeks. I'm fucking excited. It's just, I really don't get it, dude. Like, I don't want anyone to fail, because Sony, I think, makes some great fucking games, but it's like, God, really, guys? $700? And it's so funny because...
Well, it seems Nintendo seems to be game driven. Like, it seems to be their point of what they're doing is game driven.
Right.
Whereas Xbox and Sony almost at this point seem beholden to major software,
the center of your entertainment room.
They want to combine everything, but then when it comes to games, they're more beholden to like these studios and these other entities that are trying to integrate their IPs into video games. Like, that was the problem with what just got released with Star Wars Outlaw, why it was so buggy, is because that game's been in development for several years, and finally they were just given a deadline to put it out there instead of just taking the time to get it right. They're just like, let's just put this. We just have to put this out because Lucasfilm put a deadline on it.
I'm not going to play the fucking thing until there's a new patch, which is coming, because it just kept bugging out at me. I'm like, God, I want to enjoy that. I want to love this game, But it's like, fuck me. Like, it's like there was a.
But you don't have that with Nintendo because they seem like they're like, we worry about the games, not so much.
They scrapped Metroid Prime 4 in the middle of development. We're like, nah, we're fucking starting over.
Yeah.
That's what I love. And I don't know. I think this is. It seems weird how does Sony not learn how they won with the PS4? Because back then the Xbox One at E3 talked all this shit about you have to be online only. There's going to be no physical games. And it landed with a thud. And then the next day, Sony was like, nope, we're not doing any of that shit. You know,
right.
like, we're going to
and now they're doing
games. It. And that's like, hey, fuck you. We're going to do it again. Like, it's
now
just
they're trying to get you to do it.
Like, nah, fuck it. Let's go back to that. It's so fucking... And I wonder if this is why GameStop is... I don't know if you noticed, but GameStops now, there's certain GameStops that are called GameStop Retros, where they're starting to carry old games again. Like the GameStop near me has Nintendo games, Super Nintendo games, Genesis games. They're just there.
Oh, really?
64 games, PS2, PS3, PS1.
There's a lot of money in that. Why wouldn't you?
It's just like, man, things seem to have been a little better back then. Like, don't look nearly as good, but fuck, they
were fun and easy.
Bullshit. Yeah,
accessible.
I don't know, man. I want so like, and if this thing,
as much as I love Madden, fucking Super Tecmo Bowl was the funnest football game of all time.
It's still the best one. It's still the best one.
It's still. You never have more fun playing football than you do Super Tecmo Bowl. No. As much as many advancements as they make in Madden.
And then of course the Super Nintendo ones are fun too. Tecmo Super Bowl was pretty good as well, especially Part 2. Because who's that on the cover, Eddie? That's America's team. That's a Dallas fucking Cowboys right there. That's why. There it is.
That's why you couldn't get it in stores. You can only rent it because no one wanted to own that piece of shit. You could only rent that from movie. From
Dallas Cowboys.
Ugh.
So. Oh man, I don't think I've ever asked you this.
Yeah.
$8 million cash is yours. But for an entire year, you have to wear nothing but a different jersey of a Dallas Cowboy every day. Every day. $8 million cash. But you got to walk around
tax
with
free.
Staubach,
Tax free. I get $8 million.
$8 million. Staubach, Aikman. Anytime, and then you have to defend them. You have to sit there and defend the Quincy Carter era at any sports bar. You have to sit there and you have to tell everybody Dak Prescott's worth every fucking penny. You have to. Also, you have to go to sports bars and watch every Cowboy game, and every time they get a first down, you have to have a Michael Irvin jersey on, and you have to do his first down. $8 million, cash, tax free.
I don't think I could do that.
What's easier, doing that or listening for an entire year nothing but Kiss or the Eagles?
Oh God.
What would be easier to do out of those?
Probably do the Cowboy thing.
Wow, that's a new one for me. I
don't think I could do any of it.
Well, of course not. But
maybe if Tracy finds out about the $8 million, I might have to do the Cowboy thing just because she wants the $8 million.
Well, yeah, she would want the $8 million. I would fucking have to. I would pull that shit with your Commanders. Andre would fucking kill me if I said no.
I would have to.
I said no.
Oh, she'd murder me.
I have to go fucking tell everybody that fucking Joe Theismann should be in the Hall of Fame. I have to sit there and get mad about it. Like, how is Theismann not in? Like, I gotta go do that.
Not get his leg broke. He's got 2 or 3 more years there
of greatness. I would do. Oh, so there we go. So again, I don't want it to fail, man. But I don't want that price to. I can't. Let's Sony. Just make it a $300 little fucking USB drive add-on or some shit. You put in there.
You think it'd be cheaper if it's just downloading? If it's just downloading the game, you think it'd be cheaper? If you're taking the disc drive out,
I don't fucking understand. Is the
game engine changed?
It's not. Apparently, not that much.
So then I don't understand where the price is coming from.
I haven't heard anything of them saying you can only play this game unless you have it. Now, what's going to hurt me, what's going to wound me, is if they say you can only play the Knights of the Old Republic remake unless you have a PS5 Pro. It will only work on that system.
But they'll do some dick-headed thing like that to make you buy it.
I will be mortified. It would be like, you motherfucker.
God, it better be the greatest game of all time.
I'll just fucking play the one they release on the Switch. It looks the same as a fucking Xbox one. I'll just do that. But it's God. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I want to thank you for listening to the Ramble. If you're new to the Ramble, we have contractual obligations at the end of every one of these Tuesday and Friday shows. It all started where we thought we should have a band. Like the Tonight Show, like Carson did. Like every late night show host has a band. We think, we should have a band.
Yeah.
And we thought, who better to lead our band than Dexter Jettster from
our favorite character from the prequels.
Maybe the worst character in the worst movie in science fiction, in Star Wars history at least. Dexter Jettster. And then that didn't work out. And now for some reason my cats, who are also Ramble corporate, signed a lifelong deal to have Skeletor, attorney as Skeletor, be our new band leader. Although Dex sometimes makes an appearance. It went from Dex to Hordak to Skeletor. Dex and Hordak will still show up sometimes, but we apologize, but we have to take it over to Skeletor. If you watch this on YouTube, on the Ramble Tube, you can see Skeletor.
All right, here we go.
And Eddie will usually ask him a question. Skeletor actually in the news earlier.
Yeah, made a little news today, a little Hollywood news. Skeletor.
Yeah.
A question for you. We read today that apparently Jared Leto has been offered the role to play you in the upcoming Masters of the Universe film. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Eddie, baby, it's the big ass baby after dark, so I kind of keep it a little toned down. You know how it goes, baby. Baby, I really appreciate the question, Eddie, baby. It's a wonderful question. I'm glad you've asked me, big guy. Not really a fan. I like a little bit that there's a rumor he started a sex cult. That gives me a little bit. Okay, maybe. But no, there's only one person who could play me, the big S, and do it properly. It'd be Jeffrey Dahmer. Because I need someone who, like me, fucks, kills, and eats. And so I think Jeffrey Dahmer, if he's around, I think he'd be a wonderful person to portray me in film. He's the only one I'd accept. And, we're going to have I'm going to have a casting call. I'm going to ask everyone who, if it's not Jeffrey Dahmer, whoever fucks, eats, and kills. Fucks, kills, and eats. I'm going to invite them all to Eternia to audition to play me, and I'm going to pick. Now, you're wondering, well, where could you find a place so big to audition all these actors all day long for a casting call? Go ahead, Eddie. Ask me.
Where?
He-Man's mother's pussy! Yeah, because it's so big. It's a big, vacuous place. I think it'll be... Is Jeffrey Dahmer, do you think he would do it?
Probably not. I don't think he can.
It's not available.
I think he's dead.
Oh, boy.
What about Harvey Weinstein?
Okay.
There it is. Jesus,
let's get Cody. All right, Cody.
Yeah, who you have. So the new people haven't met yet, but Cody has a Cinesnob podcast. Get him on Rotten Tomatoes. Cinesnob Cody. Go follow the Cinesnob podcast. Get them on Rotten Tomatoes because we need him to right some wrongs, like how Crocodile Dundee 3 is rated higher than Crocodile Dundee 2 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Doesn't make sense. I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in that world.
We can fix that.
I don't want to live in that world.
Eddie, where can all the fine folk
5 days a week.
Patreon.com, The Ralph Report. Tuesdays, Fridays, Ramble Radio. Wednesdays, Ramble Proper. And then also on Fridays, I have another podcast with called Not Today with Jen Sturger.
There it is. Look at that. Look at that. Why aren't you on all those things? You can find me in all the same Ramble locales. You can find Eddie and Cody. I also stream retro games in the evenings under my name Retro Rocha on Kick and Twitch, and just my name Jerry Rocha on YouTube. Thank you for tuning into the Ramble. Please spread the word. Subscribe, 5-star rating, positive text review. I bet if you heard this and think, you know what, my buddy so-and-so would love to hear these idiots ramble on, let him know. We're here. Spread the word. We love you all. Stay safe out there. Don't make a fuck out of us. We will be back Tuesday for an all-new Ramble Radio. Who knows what we're going to bitch about then, or love then. Until then, stay safe. Take care, everybody.